Okay.
Okay.
Jeff, I want to be punished.
Yes, I know you do. I'll be right back,
Punish
everybody.
Nick. Can
I've
you hear
been
us?
bad boy.
Can you hear us?
Man. Hi, everyone. Jeff is dealing with his kids just a little bit more. He got us set up, then we'll get going
He's
here. I
fighting.
wonder what his kids are doing. I'm glad I don't have kids. Sounds hard.
It sounds.
Yeah, just
yeah,
have dogs.
Even dogs are too much
Scary.
sometimes.
Oh man.
Like, I love my dog, but it's probably my last dog. I'm just gonna like live literally alone. Like,
You know what? I had a dog like for now. I don't have a dog for a couple of months now because it passed away, and I was like, should I get another dog? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'm done with dogs.
It's a lot of work.
I have
And
2
especially-
dogs.
It is a lot of work. Like,
If you
yeah,
live alone, you have to do all the work. You're the only one training it. And then look, they get it. Like, I love Penny. Penny's attached. And it's nice, but it's also like if I'm gone from the house for more than 3 hours, I'm like, oh, like I guess Penny's just gonna freak out after a while and maybe like piss on the floor or throw up or something, and then I feel bad.
now you gotta turn on the TV, put the Discovery Channel. They love that shit.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe. But then it's like, I don't know, I'm leaving the
And then it's
TV on
gonna-
for 5
Obviously gonna talk-
hours.
The problem is your dog's gonna talk about fucking ancient aliens all day after that. So
I see.
yeah, that's a drawback.
But yeah, I mean, then if you get a cat, like, no, I don't want cats. I don't like cats very much.
Well, cats are weird.
Yeah, it's only you told Jeff.
Yeah, you're just gonna be
I'm not a cat person.
alone by yourself all your life.
I mean, sounds kind of nice. Look, trust me, I see too many people every weekend. And there's like 3 family events. Like, this nephew has a football game, and it's this niece's birthday, and my dad's like, we're gonna build a shed. I see enough people. And then my friend's like, we're going out and we're gonna watch a movie. I'm like, man,
Arguably
how am
too
I
much,
supposed to,
dude.
how am I supposed to like make 50 million gil in Final Fantasy 14 with all you
True.
jerks?
Family is on your way. Like you have to
Yes.
put your family aside if you want to be guild millionaire. You know.
Yes, exactly. I gotta put all that stuff behind.
Yeah, you have to keep your virgin status.
Wow.
Oh my god. This
I thought I
That's
banned
not
that. Man, where's that ban button?
that's not respect. You're just asking to get kicked again, Nick.
Yeah.
You're playing with fire.
Mike can't ban me. Only
Oh,
Jeff
true.
can.
Only Grubb can. I can, I think. Oh yeah, I
He
can.
won't do that again.
Oh, he's breaking apart. Oh, yeah. That's a good old Nick. There we go.
Well,
We
can't
lost
ban him. He says, "No, I did that. I kicked him. I can't ban him."
Oh,
I can disconnect him apparently.
Oh yeah, you can disconnect him. I Oh, the power. I'm not doing this, Nick.
I'll do it. I'm doing it like crazy. Nick thinks I don't have power. I have power.
Wow. I have the power.
Good.
Who said that? I have the power. Oh, He-Man.
Yes, that's a He-Man thing.
It's a He-Man. Is there a new He-Man? No, it's a.
There was. I don't know. There was a He-Man reboot in like that time. I didn't do it. There's like a He-Man reboot in 2005 or something. I think I was the only person who liked it.
Why you do that? I'm not doing anything.
No, he's just.
Between you and Mike, Nick. Don't involve me.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Hey! Look! Hey!
Oh, everybody.
All right, hey, guess what, Nick? You think these 98 people in chat are here to listen to you and your shit? Me out.
You hold no power
No.
over me, brother.
I'm the goddamn show. Don't you pull that weak shit with me? Don't even say anything. No one will understand you with your goddamn Xbox 360 headset. Come at me like that weak shit. Nick Turbo, more like Nick not very fast.
Wow. Oh my god. Well, no, Grubb has to come back. Oh my God, we were talking all this time, and Nick.
Jeff, I was being so funny, but Nick kicked me off. Nick kicked me off.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It's Nick's fault.
Wow.
I thought he deserves punishment.
I need to be punished
beat after
like a
beat
bad boy.
after beat, dude, what the fuck? I was being so entertained. I'm out.
Just
Wow,
playing my
guys.
thing.
Nick, you ruined my career.
Not well. Okay, first off, but no, like, get me back on the thing. Get me back on here.
You're back on the thing, I think.
You're back. We're back.
All right, so be
We're
funny.
chill out.
There's no way I'm on because I don't even see the video.
No.
Well,
they
yeah,
can hear you.
they can hear
hear us.
you.
All right, yeah, you come at me. All right, all I do is I try to move Nick Turbo from the channel because he's goddamn calling me a virgin again. You're coming in here going, what did you guys do? You're a goddamn hour late. All you're gonna say is, oh, my kids. What were your kids doing for an hour? A whole hour? No.
Well, I mean,
no one come at me. Don't come at me.
I don't. I also have a tummy issue. I was trying to avoid.
The guy with
Okay.
Crohn's. The guy with
Okay.
fucking Crohn's. You're gonna tell me your tummy hurts.
My tummy hurts. Yeah, a little
Yeah, my
my
tummy
God.
hurts all the
Oh my
goddamn time. You could have texted me. You didn't even tell me you're gonna start late. You know how I found out? You know how I found out we weren't starting at 10:30?
How'd you find out?
Goddamn YouTube thing said we're starting at 11 now.
We were
You think,
here with Mike.
you think I get a courtesy text? You think
No.
I get no? No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
There's no
I've been
respect.
sitting
Nothing.
here having to talk to these two assholes.
Yeah.
Really, half the time,
Yeah.
half the time the stream can't even hear me because Nick
This
Turbo
stream
kicked
wasn't
me
here with
out.
us all this time. What the
A
fuck?
goddamn playing my fucking giant ass flute, which is hard to hold. You know?
They listen. At
We're
least we
example.
haven't.
This is
we,
all Nick's fault.
we haven't lost any frames yet, so there's that. All right.
Oh my God.
Man. Okay. All right. Are your kids?
Daddy.
Did you get your kids back in their cages?
Yes, they're
you
back in their
fed them?
holes. Yeah.
I
Oh.
am going to go get a Coke Zero. I'm going to
Okay.
turn my air conditioning down a little bit because it's hot in here for some reason. And then I will be ready to start.
Okay,
Chad,
sounds
let me
good.
tell you, we were talking about so much cool stuff, and everything was missed because Nick fucked up.
I was
won't
on the
do it
potty,
again.
and I turned on the YouTube, and it was like, why aren't they talking? What's going on?
Oh,
I'm like-
I was talking so much.
Huh? All right.
I was being so funny. You missed all
I
the
won't
jokes.
do it again, I promise.
Oh, what a
too late.
mess. I probably should have texted
Chaos.
him, huh? Yeah, chaos. Yeah.
Well, you finally
Master
texted him.
Chief comes.
I was weird because it's weird that chat is not interacting with us. It's like, and then it dawned on me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering why. Like, I thought I was being pretty
Because
funny.
first of all, Mike kicked Nick, then Nick showed up, then Nick kicked Mike, and then for some reason, Nick started kicking everybody. And when they kick you, well, that's our
Oh.
connection to the stream.
Oh, Nick's in trouble.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm
Mike,
actually
turn on your camera.
sorry.
Oh, never mind.
You're fine.
There we
Turn on
go.
your camera.
I turned on my camera. Nick's in trouble, but Jeff's in
Wait,
more
where's mine?
trouble. Christian, you're guilty by association.
What? I was just walking in the park and I get shot.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah,
You're blaming the victim, Mike.
yeah.
You're
Oh
victim
yeah,
blaming here.
broadcast.
I was trying to keep everything calm, trying to make conversation. I'm moving my hands.
I agree with George Ford. Mods are getting a bit of a big head. They think that they can do to me the things I do to them.
Hey, chat
That
loves
goes
me.
one way, okay?
That does not love you. You hate Mega Man. Nobody loves anyone who hates Mega Man, except for maybe Dr. Wily.
Thank you. Chat is with me. Thank you. I am
Yep.
innocent.
Can't just find one thing one
tell
person
how,
says that says
tell
chat
like
with
how
you.
much you love me.
Remember how
Oh,
much chat hated me and Jeff 83? I don't know why I'm thinking about that. Yeah, that was great. The funny thing was the whole time we're like, chat's gonna hate this segment. That was great. Put the hat on. I'm like, no, it's hot. It's too hot to put the Arby's hat on. That hat's not coming on again until Halloween time. That's basically this Halloween this year.
Up.
Yeah, Halloween. I'm just gonna be Arby's. I'm just gonna show up
Yeah,
to
just
parties
count.
Go
wearing
as
my
meat.
meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'm Arby's. Like and they'll get it. They'll think it's funny.
I've got to
Watch.
fix my camera now. Sorry.
No, take your time.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
Oh, you broke.
What's the rush?
Yeah, this is like whatever. Like we have all the time. You don't have anything to do. What do you have to do?
Ugh.
I understand now.
Remember also, Jeff, you're supposed to let me hunt for you and
Yeah,
Deathloop last night? Yeah.
I was gonna get back on, but my Emmy wouldn't go to bed. She wouldn't go to sleep, and so I was wrestling her to
Classic
bed.
chips.
And then by the time I got done, I figured you were probably done playing, and it was late, and I just fell asleep. You can hunt me, all right? I will get online, and you can hunt me. I'll leave myself online, and you can hunt me and get killed again if that's what you really want. If that's what you really want.
Okay, so you came at me one time. It was the first time it ever happened. I was like, oh, what's going on here? I don't know. Look. Yeah. Oh, you guys should have seen one. So Blessing, kind of funny. He came in one time. It destroyed me the first time, I admit. Then the second time, I was able to hack the tower in Deathloop and escape. And they're like, oh, well, that's kind of cowardly. Even though it seems like me going to two points where I have to go at some point and to be able to get away seems somewhat skillful. But sure, okay. So I was like, all right, let's do it again. No escapes. And then I killed him. So I got him. And you know what? One kill each, plus I got the escape. I'm going to call that an overall win. I think it was, it's well played. Jeff, meanwhile, was texting me you should just stream snipe him.
You just stream snipe him.
Wow.
Yes, stream snipe him.
I was like, no, I won't do that. I don't need to because I'm actually good at video games, Jeff.
Wow. Holy shit, she just got exposed.
To be fair,
Holy
Blessing was like, that's what I would do. I'm streaming now. I would.
well, you're both degenerates.
Okay, all right, don't switch.
There we go. Hey,
Jeff,
look at
Jeff
that.
thought I had, to be clear, Jeff thought I had no chance.
Yes, I thought you had no. He had such high health and all this other stuff, so I was like, there's no chance. But hey, you killed him there in the end. That was good stuff.
Turbo Shot said it amused me how Blessing seemed to insist on calling you by your full name every time. People have done that to me the worst was when teachers did it, but people love saying my full name. It's fun to say my name. I get it.
It's the Marissa Tomei of male names, yes.
Yeah, I get it. It's fun to say. Mike Minotti. Mike Minotti.
If you rearrange the letters on Marissa Tomei's name, you can spell I am Toad.
No, I did not know that.
I did not know that.
But I think I'm glad you told me.
Catch knowledge. Open your third eye, baby.
Well, Jeff's got a new Nintendo shirt. Wow.
No, the Xmoda. I said that he said he wouldn't. I tried to convince him, and I said in chat that Mike's like, no, I would not do that. So I was giving Mike credit there, and I'm throwing myself under the bus by saying I told him to. That's what I meant. Anyhow.
But I wouldn't.
He would not.
I would not. I'm no cheating jerk.
I respect that.
That's right.
Okay, Mike.
Right.
Let's just check the audio and then we'll get started.
Did you add what game? Tell me what Nintendo game did you want to talk about today that you've been playing? WarioWare.
Yeah, WarioWare and CRUIS'N Blast.
Okay. Don't forget you have to open up.
Yes.
Stream Elements. It just okay. I'm
can't imagine anyone super chatting this show. What the hell? This mess.
Yeah, I tell you, man, what a waste of your money.
Sorry, Chad, that you didn't get to hear our cool takes about Final Fantasy.
What was I even yelling about? I remember it was something important. It was something
important. You said about something about Blizzard.
Hey.
You remember you told us the story about Blizzard and.
Oh gosh, that's right. I was talking about how I interviewed. I had a Diablo interview yesterday, and it was it was awkward, obviously for not. It wasn't super awkward, but it was a little awkward for the obvious reason. I had some questions about that, but then there was this extra awkward point earlier where we're kind of waiting for things to start, and one of the Diablo people's like, "So, Mike, what games are you playing these days?" And without thinking, I'm just like, "Final Fantasy 14." And then before I could realize that I said that to Blizzard, and I was about to be like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said." The PR's like, "Anyways, we're going to get started here now. We got everything good on our end." Damn. It's I could have just said I was playing Deathloop or WarioWare. I was like, "No, I'm playing the game that everyone plays when they say they hate you."
You went for full damage, so
Can you guys hear Wario?
Okay,
you guys
have a
hear
good
me?
podcast.
Start
Thank you.
cheering now.
Yeah, Nick saw himself out. Good.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks, Christian. Mike, could you hear Wario?
Yeah, I heard him.
Okay. All right. Well, hang on, let me show the chat.
Get out of here, Nick.
You guys hear me?
They can.
Start cheering
They can.
now.
They can't hear that.
They can. They can. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
All right, Mike. Should I hit the button to start recording and do
Do
it?
you have Stream Elements open? Did you tweet? And do you have the?
Well, I tweeted a bit ago. I have viewer activity right here, so if anyone super chats, I'll see it. Yeah. Listen, just because I'm a complete
viewer
fuck up
activity.
doesn't mean
Didn't
I'm a
we-
complete fuck up.
Didn't we already have a talk about how Stream Elements was better than that? But hey, look, whatever.
I'm opening stream right
Do
now.
you have do you have the show open? Yes, you do. Anonymous Goose is in here. I see. I guess that's you.
Yes, I'm looking at that right there. Stream elements. Yeah. Okay. Super chats. I can hit that button. Okay. Yeah. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog,
Hello, I am Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
and we are the last of the Nintendogs. This week, they finally gave us that WarioWare inside of our Nintendo jail cell, so we got to play a bit of that. Nintendo switched on the Bluetooth switch for Switch, and other fun Nintendo things. We're going to be talking about our favorite Game Boy Advance games. Jeff, since I'm mad at you, I think I'm going to put you on the spot, though, even though it's not related. Is Battlefield delayed?
Yeah, I think that's probably what's gonna happen, right? Like, at this point, I'm not the only one teasing it anymore. But yeah, you put me on the spot there, huh? Yeah, that's probably what's gonna. That's probably what's gonna happen.
That's no courtesy text gonna be late, Jeff. That's what you get.
Listen, I'm a busy man, Mike, and I'm busy because in part I was waiting to see if this news was gonna come out or not. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So you're just sitting there. I'm just gonna sit here for half an hour. Don't need to tell Mike that I'm gonna be late or anything. He'll figure it out.
I can't see why I would have to tell you. I just can't. I don't understand. Like,
It's a mystery.
everybody's on my time, Mike.
I've
You
got
just
nothing
wait
better
until
to
I'm ready.
do.
Everyone should just be prepared for.
I got nothing better to
work
do but get harassed by your own mods.
Yeah, listen, I don't know when it's getting delayed to, so if that's happening, like, there's been a lot of people now reporting this, so that's kind of where I'm coming from now. But some people were saying 2022. I don't know if that's the case. This could be a
I
situation.
see more
where
people saying not 2022,
Right.
but we'll see. I mean, there's
Yes.
still there's still always a risk that everybody's hearing this from like that same person. So who knows? But it
Yes.
seems like this is happening.
Right. They're probably not hearing it from where I'm hearing it from, but like they could be
Oh.
hearing it from people who like were in our Discord or whatever. So yeah. Okay.
Anyways, Jeff, wow, stop talking about non-Nintendo stuff. This is last of the Nintendogs, baby.
Wow.
Man,
Okay.
getting
Wow.
off topic here.
Jesus.
All right, what else can we blame Jeff for? Jeff, how come there's no Nintendo Direct yet? What's going on?
I don't know. I'm pretty frustrated too. I guess what is it? It's Wednesday. There's a chance they could drop a mini tomorrow without announcing it, right? But I don't know. They just did the Bluetooth thing, so maybe that was. So, I don't know. I have no idea.
To be fair, that's something Nintendo would never put in a Direct.
Yeah, they
really.
wouldn't put that in a Direct, would they?
And to be fair, you're not on the line for this one. You never were like, there's definitely going to be a
I'm
Direct on so. Yeah, you're so chat knows this isn't actually Jeff's fault. But yeah, I don't know. I'm beginning to give up hope a little bit. We're going to actually get one this week again, unless it's one of those weird mini drops tomorrow. Do they do them on Friday? Is that a thing? I feel like no, but I can't remember.
Because that's Saturday in Japan, so no. They usually would do them at the latest on Thursday. They've done, and they do them on Thursday. So I guess we'll see.
Let's get into some of the other news for the week here. And yeah, this happened last night. Let's talk about this first. The Switch is now compatible with Bluetooth devices. Mostly headphones and stuff. Jeff, this is something they could have just done all along.
I guess. I mean, listen, I feel like, that was pretty obvious to me. And yet some part of me felt like they were going to continue to hold it off and just maybe make it part of the OLED Switch. Like people would turn on the OLED Switch and be like, oh, look, this thing supports Bluetooth. And yet somehow, no, they just flipped. They literally flipped the switch, and now here we are. I tried it out, It works well. I think they said if you're using a Bluetooth headset, it limits the number of controllers you can then connect to the Switch, which is like, okay, if I'm using headphones, I'm almost never going to be playing
Sure.
like with someone else.
Smash
Yeah,
Brothers or something.
exactly.
So
Yeah, that'd be weird. Yeah, like you don't want to talk to the person next to you. Like, yeah, that'd be odd. So that's fine. That's like a total fair trade-off there. It's just, I guess, there must be something like maybe they have to license some of the codecs or something like that. But even that seems like that's probably not what it is. But like Microsoft and Sony, I think, don't do this either. I think neither of those systems support Bluetooth headphones, I think, or at least Xbox doesn't. So it's like, it's weird that Nintendo in one way is ahead of Xbox in terms of hardware technology, but hey, it was weird. Like I was playing it and I was using it, and it was weird to be able to hear my Nintendo Switch games, because usually I play them in handheld and kind of have the volume turned down a little bit, and that's like but how I've played it for years now, and so actually be able to use my headphones was cool.
I mean, the only time I really need headphones is when I'm on an airplane or something like that, traveling, and like I have these shitty, now gross, like airport like plug-in headphones that I bought the first time I flew with my Switch, that I still have in my Switch case just in case, and they're always uncomfortable and I hate them. So yeah, it's nice that I could just use the actual like headphones I'm using for music and everything now. It's like, it's good we have this. It's so frustrating. It's like, couldn't you have just done this earlier? This didn't seem hard. I don't know what went into it. It seems like maybe it wasn't that hard, but whatever. I'm glad we got it. Better than never getting it, huh?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and people are pointing out that Vita had this for a very long time, and yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. You look at something like that came out so many years ago and that had supported it, but also that is Sony, and like, of course they would support like kind of cutting edge technology, even though even Bluetooth at that point probably wasn't cutting edge, and it's definitely not at this point. It's nice that the Switch is finally just coming around, being like, yeah, we could do that. So it's just weird for Nintendo to kind of do an update after so long, and realizing that technology is there and just be like, yeah, we could do that for you.
All right, some other news here. We had the NPDs come out for August 2021. Switch was the best-selling console, and it now has been the best-selling console for 33 consecutive months in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty good. Now, maybe that would have changed if there was more supply for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I don't know, but still, pretty good there. It's still at an incredible pace, and we have this new model coming out. We got some big games, so probably, like, do you think that's going to change anytime soon? Do you think like PlayStation 5 is going to be the best-selling system in November or something, or do you think maybe Xbox gets a really big boost because of Halo in December?
It's all just going to come down to supply, right? Because those systems are still selling every single box that they put on shelves. So I think that there's a chance, I know they'll want to have as much supply as possible, but Nintendo will have, a lot of reasons for people to pick up a new Switch as well. The OLED, they're going to be marketing Metroid and stuff. So, I don't know. I think Switch probably still comes out ahead in terms of units sold for this holiday. But by next holiday, that should probably flip, because, in the first several years, new consoles only get stronger year over year in terms of how many units they're going to sell. Like, this is not going to be the best year for PlayStation 5 or Xbox sales. That'll be 3-4 years from now even. So as Switch is coming down on the other side of its arc here, we'll probably see PlayStation 5 and even Xbox like regularly outsell the Switch, beginning in 2022, more likely 2023. But the point is Nintendo could always continue to refresh the line, and if it does that, it could continue to see really strong sales, but then that takes us back to the Switch Pro, and who wants to talk about that? So,
gosh, yeah, right. At least we know that it'll have Bluetooth support, probably.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Confirmed Switch Pro functionality here. Some other small things. Mario Kart 8 was at number 6, still at number 6. Like, my God, who doesn't have that game? I guess it's just everybody who buys a Switch gets Mario Kart 6.
Yeah,
Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah,
there was no Mario Kart 6. That would just be Mario Kart Wii, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess so. Yeah,
and or DS. I think it's Wii. Yeah, Wii. And then Skyward Sword was at 7. It was number 1 last week, so a bit of a drop, but still in the top 10. So that's doing pretty well now. And there's multiple series here where they have 2 games in the like top 10 or top 20, and now you have Breath of the Wild still in there, and you have Skyward Sword. So pretty nice for Mario. or Nintendo, where Mario lives.
Mario could buy
Alright.
another house.
Yes. Okay, so Video Game Chronicle actually had an interview with Hideki Kamiya, the kind of a series creator for Bayonetta over at Platinum. And he told Video Game Chronicle that Platinum is proud of Bayonetta 3 and wants to show it. He said, as much as everyone is clamoring to see it, we are really, really waiting to release it too. Everyone who's working on the project is, of course, very proud of what we're doing and wants everyone to see what we're doing. So basically, this interview almost makes it frame it like they're ready to show the game. They're maybe even ready to release the game. That can't actually be right. But it sounds like it's further ahead than maybe we think, and it's just kind of waiting on Nintendo to be like, yeah, we can slot in Bayonetta 3 here.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, it just sounds like they are waiting to get the green light to probably show it. I don't think this game is ready. I don't think it's definitely not finished, I would say. And the interview doesn't really necessarily say that explicitly, although a lot of people took that away from it. But wanting to show it, I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's probably coming down to Nintendo and its marketing and trying to figure out exactly when it wants to slot these games in. And Bayonetta 3 is probably just something that's like, well, we're going to wait until it's closer to release, like we do with a lot of this stuff. And while Platinum might have something to show, Nintendo's probably like, hey, well, we'll show it when it's 2 months out, like when it's 3 months out from release. That's when we'll actually finally put it into something, to release a trailer, put something on Twitter. But that said, I mean, if we do have a direct coming up soon, do you think we see it?
I still feel like we see this at the Game Awards, if anything. Because again, that was announced there. Video Games Awards is a bit prime timey, right? So you can easily put Bayonetta in there. That would make, I don't know. I see that happening. Like again, this direct that we're getting, I don't think it's going to be this giant direct. I think it is going to be more of a mini. So yeah, I wouldn't expect them to be like, and finally we're going to finally show you Bayonetta 3 on that. But we'll see. I mean, Nintendo has done the whole, this game's done, we're just waiting thing before with like Pikmin 3 Deluxe, kind of with Paper Mario, right? Was that another one that was sort of like that?
Yes, it was. Yes. And then Pikmin and stuff, and
but,
a few others.
Mostly Metroid Prime trilogy, maybe, but
right.
Yeah. So who knows? All right, but Video Game Chronicle also kind of had the story that Platinum wants to bring Star Fox Zero to Switch, which is one of like the few like big Nintendo Switch exclusives that hasn't come out yet. But Jeff, do you want Star Fox Zero on Switch?
Fuck no. I don't care. I would probably give it another shot if it came to Switch, but it's do you think Nintendo wants to do this? Like
no, I don't know. No, I'm actually a mild defender of this game. I actually thought it was kind of fun, but it also was like one of the rare games that kind of used all of the Wii U stuff pretty extensively. Like you have to do some work to make this work without the two screens thing and without all. So and you can do it, I'm sure. But then you're taking a game that a lot of people already didn't like and kind of getting rid of some of the uniqueness and interesting aspects of it anyway. So like, this is probably one where it's like, why don't we just make a new Star Fox if we really want to do that? And honestly, if you're going to make a new Star Fox, I'd say, why do that? Make a new F-Zero instead.
Yeah, it feels like that. Anything you would like, if you were to put Platinum on this, there would be other stuff that you could actually get them to do that would be worth more money in the end. So I don't know. And there's like even like other Star Fox stuff they could bring forward, which I know wouldn't involve Platinum, but like you would have like Star Fox Adventures from the GameCube, like do a remaster of that or something like that. That could be kind of fun.
Literally just telling Platinum, hey, why don't you use like some of that edge in those assets to like have a really good first step on doing a nice Star Fox 64 remake again.
Yes,
which it isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but I think more people would want that than Star Fox Zero even.
I agree. I think you're right.
Sonic Colors Ultimate got its first patch. Sega says it's like the first of many. I'm not really sure what this does. I wonder like how much patches are going to help, because patches are going to fix bugs. I wonder if we can eventually get this game to 60 frames per second, because that just seems so important for a Sonic game. Especially, 3D platforms in general are kind of rough for me when they're not at 60 frames per second. It's kind of a bummer. Like even Mario Sunshine still, right? People still complain about how that's at 30 frames per second.
Yep.
So I wonder how much work they can do with patches here.
Yeah, I they do need to fix those bugs. They need to fix the weird like stuff that might have been causing seizures and things like that, of course. But hopefully you're right that they get to a point where they're actually improving the performance of this game and turning it into something that was kind of worthy of bringing back in the first place.
Why is people booing me in chat? What did I say that was controversial? Was it about that they should make F-Zero instead of Star Fox? I hope not. Yeah, Sano Dragon talked about Digital Foundry's video on F-Zero. But yeah, that just came out. That's what has me even more upset about F-Zero. And like, we're not getting a new one because it was just showing how incredible F-Zero GX is. And it is. And it's just like, just make that again.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, we need something new. It's like, bitch, do you know how old that game is? Just do that, but newer.
Yep.
That'll be fine. That'll be good. But and then
especially
also
after playing CRUIS'N Blast, which it's like, man, it's just a fun racing game. I'll talk about it later, but it's like you could just do one of those, and that is worthy of time right now, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff, you didn't even update the episode number on the YouTube.
We talk about it. Yes, I did.
Nintendogs. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I for one am shocked that Jeff got the wrong episode number down there. Also, that video taught me that F-Zero's name is a play on Formula One, which I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Never knew.
I like this like occurred to me like I think I was watching like an F1 movie or something like that, and they're like they said Formula One, and then there was like, and I was in Formula 3. I'm like, there's a Formula 3, Formula One, and then I was like, oh, F-Zero as in being above Formula One, and it was like, okay, that was like an eye-opening moment for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Sweet Life of Dio. That's a good name. Sweet Life of Dio Brando says an F-Zero GX remaster would or just talking about that. But man, just do that even. Honestly, if you just like remastered F-Zero GX, it would probably still like look as good as any other Switch game.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Probably.
Ridiculous how far ahead of that thing was. All right. Hey, GameCube had its 20th anniversary yesterday, September 14th. Now, I don't know, like maybe this is bad of me, but I'm like, whoa, in Japan it came out. I'm really waiting till that November release to like really celebrate, which is weird because I got a Japanese GameCube actually, because like I was a brat who couldn't wait. I was so excited. But even like I don't feel it yet. I don't really feel like I need to like go out there and really celebrate GameCube yet. Like to me, I'm waiting for that November drop to happen.
I'm the same way. We'll talk about that because it's like that's what I remember of those games in the United States at that time, and like I was aware the GameCube came out early, but it's like, I was ready for Star Wars Rogue Squadron to come out here, and that's what I associated with, and I associate it with November. I do. So yeah.
And I associate with like the Xbox because those two consoles came out like really close to each other. It was really exciting. It was really interesting. So I was just November. I say November 2001 was a great time, forgetting that it was 2 months after 9/11.
Yeah, it was a real party, Mike.
From that, the video games were fantastic.
Oh man, yeah.
More 9/11 jokes. Great,
wonderful.
WarioWare Get Together is getting a Tetris 99 limited time Grand Prix event. Jeff, you gonna check that out?
I always want to, and I never do. I always want to play these whatever they're called, the Grand Prix Maximus events or whatever. And this one like looks really cool, and I love WarioWare, so I'll try, but I'll probably end up forgetting. It's probably how it's gonna go.
Fair enough. I'll be honest, I don't care that much, so I probably just won't. I probably would just rather play more WarioWare. That's
fair too, yeah. Which it's been fun, so it's like, yeah, I get that, but it's like I like Tetris 99 a lot, but I think I have that Game Boy theme already, so it's like I'm just gonna stick to the Game Boy theme.
Like set.
I'm kind of already set.
Does it have a Game Boy Color theme?
It's the same thing, Mike. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. All right, that's it for the news. We have some questions coming up, and then after that, we're going to talk about our favorite Game Boy Advance games, which I know Jeff is excited about. If you want to ask us a question, you can do it in a super chat. If you want to tell us your favorite Game Boy Advance game, you can also do that in a super chat. Jeff, before I get to our community questions, I saw we did get one super chat question. I'll just go ahead and read this one.
Yeah.
It's from Blake Merritt. So can you tell us what the delay this week is? And yes, I actually made Jeff say that earlier. He is expecting Battlefield 2042 to be delayed.
Yeah, not a big shocker based on what everyone else is saying too. So yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. All right then. And we'll probably talk about that more on Friday, I imagine. Yeah. It will be awkward are you going to be stressed out if it doesn't happen by Friday? It's one of those things.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, I think it's probably gonna, it's probably going to happen by the end of today. I think so.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Well, if you're having a bad day, I'll be sure to throw salt into your wound.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you, Mike. Good friend.
Well, if
Yeah, for-
nice thing to do.
for
Nice thing to do for
text.
friends is to text them when you're going to be an hour late to something. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
We can
Yeah,
play
okay.
that game.
Man.
All right. Canubo, question.
Chilly.
Are we going to get a direct this month, right? With Silk Song, right?
Man,
I tell you what, we might get a direct this month. I don't know about Silk Song.
Yeah, you got to get your hopes set in the right order there, man. I mean, just hope for a direct and then be surprised if Silk Song was there. We do this every time, Silk Song, right? Silk Song, right?
I'll tell you what, that's another one that might be Game Awards. Because, I mean, we already seen that Keeley loves to get those things that people are like, keep asking about, right? He did it with Elden Ring. I bet he would love to have Silk Song at the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
For its kind of re-debut.
I think you're right. Like, well, I mean, yeah, if Jeff Keighley can convince them of it, like to come back, I mean, he did it the first time, so yeah. Especially if it's like early 2022, so yeah, that could make a lot of sense. And the Game Awards I mean, while a Nintendo Direct is huge, the Nintendo audience is already paying attention to Silk Song. So if you get in the Game Awards, you're probably hitting the Nintendo audience as well as like a few other potential audiences, and that could help really with sales. So yeah, I would look forward to that as a possibility.
Nick Turbo asks, do you lick the Switch carts? No. What's up, man? We don't have to bring that thing back. I forgot that was a thing, right?
That was the thing, yep.
Like why were people licking them? They had a taste.
Yeah, because they coated the parts of it with the metal parts of it with a special chemical that makes it taste really like repugnant, and so people are like, "Wait, what?" They were like, "I have to try this." Like you tell someone to play this hot and they have to touch it. It's like one of those.
Yes, of course.
They don't want kids swallowing the cards because they're so small, so they coat them in bad taste juice.
I mean, fair. But also, yeah, don't lick anything that's not food. Is my good answer to that. Food or significant others.
No.
All right, Anderson64 asks, "Are there any good wrestling games for Switch?" I mean, that's a good question. I think the answer is no. But
there's WWE 2K19, right? That was 18.
Yeah, those ports have been awful. I forget if that
fires.
weird like chibi wrestling game that they made last year even came out for Switch. It seems like it should have. I don't even know. And I don't know how much people like that one. No one seemed to talk about it very much. I assume it was fine. But did any of the Fire Pro wrestling games come out on Switch? Because if they did,
I don't think so.
that's something. Yeah, Retromania wrestling game just came out a little bit ago. I haven't tried that yet. And it has like a roster of a lot of indie people. So maybe that's good. But again, I haven't played it yet. I can't vouch for it. So yeah, it is on Switch. So I bet that might be your best bet. But again, like you're not going to be playing as like Hulk Hogan. You're going to be playing as the Blue Meanie in that one. So which is fine. The Road Warriors are there. That's good. Yeah, some random New Japan people. Like what is that? Zack Sabre Jr. I do like Zack Sabre Jr. a lot.
Wrestling Empire. Donnie Reese.
Wrestling Empire. Yeah. Okay. Wrestling Empire is great. I haven't heard of that one. So yeah, we'll see. Ryan's saying hopefully the AEW game comes to Switch. That would be cool. I mean, look, I would love it if they just were like, yeah, here's No Mercy in some way, right? But like, gosh, that's a licensing nightmare. So that can't happen. All right. Next question. That's a good question. Thank you, Anderson. Matt, okay. Is Nintendo really not going to sell Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch? They're just leaving millions in sales on the table. Yeah, I mean, it frustrates me. I really want to play Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch. I've wanted to ever since the compilation came out. That game's great. It was kind of upsetting when it just wasn't there. And my mindset right now is I'm really excited for my Steam Deck because I'm going to just put Dolphin on there and I'm going to get Mario Galaxy 2 on there and play it on there, and I'm not going to feel bad about it at all.
Yep. I do wonder like how you're going to like you'll do that. But you'll have to, I guess. Dolphin has pretty good control mapping, so you just put the motion control on the right stick, I think, or I guess maybe you could motion it.
There's gyro, right?
You could put it on the gyro. So I wonder how that would work, huh?
I imagine that it should work pretty well, but I'm hardly an expert in this stuff. I'm not a degenerate thief like you.
All right, of course, yeah. I can tell you that it might be a little bit challenging, but it's not going to work at like the Wii original, but you'll probably be able to play it just fine.
It is just like, why don't they just get that onto the Switch? But it's Nintendo. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we just now get Bluetooth support for the Switch? I don't know. All right, Turbo Sean, how much better Oh wait, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. Benji Bob says, if you had to live in and participate yourselves in one of the Mario sports games, which one would it be and why? Man, I mean, golf seems like the least stressful. Golf seems fun, seems pleasant. Seems like the least physically
there's
exerting.
probably drinking and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks hard. It looks
Yeah.
like they're running around a lot and getting really sweaty and gross. I don't know. I mean, what are my other options here? Soccer looks way too hard. It's a team sport, so I'm like just standing around, looking kind of bored. The baseball, I love baseball, but like I'd rather watch baseball. I don't really want to play baseball, especially like Mario and them. And it's like, all right, I'm pitching to Donkey Kong. Hope he doesn't send a line drive right to my head and kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A hell of a way to go, though.
Yeah, and plus there's like a nice like players like lounge. There's like, you know, the club when you're golfing. Yeah, golf seems to be the best answer by far.
For me, it is Super Mario Strikers because one of my life goals has always been, and you know this, Mike, is to do a crotch chop next to Waluigi. And so I would just like, he would start doing it, and I would just go stand next to him and start doing it as well. And everyone would cheer, and it would just be a great memory for everybody involved.
I thought you were going to say because of Princess Daisy's soccer outfit, the one that's like too hot for Nintendo now, right?
Yeah.
Was it like Miyamoto not happy about the?
It was like it was just like
Peach
slightly. They were like
outfits?
sports shorts, and he's just
It's like
oh,
you can see like
Ooh.
indentation of a butt.
yeah.
So
She has-
it's like,
her butt
whoa!
exists, and her butt exists, and Miyamoto's like, well, we can't have that. We can't.
this is way too much. All right. Now, Turbo Sean for real this time. How much better would CRUIS'N Blast be if the theme song was Dragula?
Yes, that's one of the main things that would improve that game. Absolutely. I'm still reeling a week later, learning that Mike did not know about Dragula.
I had
Still
no idea.
reeling. Have you gone to listen to it? Is it your favorite song yet?
No, I didn't listen to it. I bet it's bad, probably.
Well, you know what? You're wrong. Well, okay, listen, it is bad, but it's bad in an awesome way, and it would fit
Yeah?
perfectly with CRUIS'N Blast.
Well, if you say so. Nick Turbo says, "Why don't you love me? Because you ruin everything, Nick Turbo." Charles asks, "Now that we have Bluetooth, what will be next from the wish list? Folders, themes, eShop music, or a surprise?" Man, folders seems like it should be pretty easy.
Yeah,
but,
they had it on the 3DS. Just get the person that did that to like come do it for the Switch now.
yeah. So my bet will be on folders. But again, like all this stuff seems like why not? A surprise? I don't know. So I bet surprise will be something we don't want, something bad, right? It's like,
Yep.
oh, now when you don't play a game for a week, it automatically gets uninstalled. Like, what? No, don't do that. Something like that.
Yeah, right.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you for those questions, everybody. We are now going to talk about our favorite Game Boy Advance games. Unless anybody wants to say that it's also not its own platform. Are we all okay with that? We're all good here. Game Boy
No,
Advance
of course
counts.
the Game Boy Advance.
Of
is its
course,
own
the Game
plat-
Boy Advance. Okay,
Of
good. Good.
course.
Just wanted to make
What do you
sure
mean?
that...
Like, oh, what is that? Oh, of course. Like
Well, I
that
don't know.
voice.
You guys are ridiculous with the whole Game Boy Color thing. So I don't know where your
Completely
dummy
different
heads
hardware.
are. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right then, Jeff. I know this is one of your favorite systems ever.
Mhm.
Well, we'll start with you. What is your all-time favorite Game Boy Advance game?
Yeah, I go back and forth on this one a lot. But having just played it again, I think my favorite game is Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
Launch game.
Yes, and this was one of the first, my first Metroidvania games that wasn't a Metroid, and I did not play Symphony of the Night before this, so getting into it and getting into the leveling system and the discovery and looking around and finding the powers and just kind of getting lost and kind of beating my head up against the wall, it has been. It's been like one of the key markers in my gaming past for like when I look back at like what I want from a game. Circle of the Moon is like right there. It's like, man, I just want that experience again. And so when they started releasing these games like every year for the Game Boy Advance for a couple of years, it was like, yes, thank you. And then when Metroid Zero started coming out, it's like I was so ready for it. Like those were like my most anticipated games of the year every year. And now not much has changed. Metroid Dread is now my most anticipated game in that same lineage. And I saw Mooch in chat asking about it earlier, saying, hey, any info on that? I mean, they put up a couple good YouTube trailers about it, and I'm still looking forward to it. I would just go watch those. But yeah, the reason I'm looking forward to that is it all goes back to Circle of the Moon just being so much fun at that time and really fitting well with the Game Boy Advance, where like I like Symphony of the Night. I just love having these games portable, being able to pull it out of my pocket, eventually getting the Game Boy Advance SP and unfolding that and just playing it in the back of Subway where I worked back then 20 years ago, whatever it was, like literally actually 20 years ago now. And so yeah, it's up there for me in terms of like some of my top games of all time. And while I am like, I think I like Harmony of Dissonance more than I realized. Like I'm having a lot of fun playing it right now. I think I'm gonna hold that candle for Circle of the Moon.
What about? I feel like most people, when they talk about the three Castlevania Game Boy Advance games, I think Aria of Sorrow comes up the most. How do you feel about that one?
I think that's actually my number. Like in terms of the Castlevania games, definitely my number 2. It's also up there. I think it's just I got really used to Castlevania Circle of the Moon systems, and it's like this is what I expected this game to be, and so slight changes like wouldn't have meshed with me exactly right at the time, but I definitely love Aria. That's also a fantastic game. It's easily in the top 10 on Game Boy Advance, and maybe also slips into the top 5. And people are going to bring up some of the other games, so I'll save my other stuff for now. But
yes.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me.
How mad are you that Iga is like Circle of the Moon doesn't even count?
Yeah, it's absurd because I literally just played it. It's still fantastic, and you could go back to it. And the problem I think he might just be still thinking about the reviews, which were like it's too dark. It's too dark,
yeah.
And like it's like okay, well I played it on a backlit screen now and it's fine. So, yeah.
Are we giving up hope for that Castlevania Advance collection? Like that listing was forever ago. I still haven't heard about it. I'm scared.
I've not given up hope, but yeah, I definitely am like, why won't they just release it? Just release it.
Yeah, I needs it. All right, so for me, I almost feel bad kind of picking a port / remaster here, but I really liked Final Fantasy VI Advance. Those versions of the SNES Final Fantasy games are fantastic. Like Final Fantasy V Advance is also really, really good. That's still my favorite way to play that. It's still my favorite way to play Final Fantasy VI. And honestly, with the Pixel remasters, I don't know if I'm gonna like those better just because of some of the changes to the art and really the font and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah. But man, so like I don't even talk about Final Fantasy 3 on SNES being one of my favorite games for that system just because I like this version on Game Boy Advance so much more. It fixes a lot of the bugs. There could be some bad one. It adds this new content. Most importantly, it improves the translation. I think it just makes the story a lot better. And look, it's a Final Fantasy game. There's a lot of text. There's a lot of story. So that helps a lot. I think the downside, like some of the visual stuff, it gets a little worse here and there. The audio is worse, but again, like when I was playing it, I didn't know that. I didn't notice that. When you like go on YouTube and you find a video that plays like the tracks like one after the other, yeah, you understand. But it never bothered me while I was playing it. And hey, look, I want to have those games portable, so it worked out really well. Yeah, Final Fantasy VI, just one of the best RPGs ever, and I still think that Game Boy Advance version is the best way to play it. And yeah, 5's not too far after it. 5 is really great, especially with that job system. I'm not a big 4 guy, and 4 has some really good ports on other systems. I don't know why 4 gets so much more like port love than 5 and 6 does, but it does. So yeah, I'm gonna go Final Fantasy 6 Advance. Again, I feel bad because there's so many good original games on there, but that's still the one.
I think that was those games at their best, and you're definitely not the only one who feels that way about those Final Fantasy games on Game Boy Advance. Like people still want to go back and play those specifically. I mean, that's something that I think the DS had that. Chrono Trigger. The Chrono Trigger remake for DS was, or not remake, but like the remaster for that one. Yeah, it's like that one's the best version of that game. So that's the sort of thing that happens with those games, and if that's how you love it, I get it.
Mm-hmm. So that's us. So you're Circle of the Moon on Final Fantasy VI Advance. We got a lot of answers here from our community. Again, if you didn't get to send us an answer in our special Discord server that is accessible through our patrons, and was it Twitch subscribers get in there too? Is that what it is?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so if you can't get an answer in that way, just send us a super chat and we will read your answer live during the show. But let's get through. We got a lot of answers. I think a lot of people really like the Game Boy Advance, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that the people coming into a Nintendogs pot, the last of the Nintendogs happen to like Game Boy Advance. Like it's the right age for like a bunch of different groups. Like
Right.
whether you're old or young, Game Boy Advance is probably something you still played.
It's the same thing with the GameCube, right? Like a lot of people, it seems like a GameCube gets a lot of love now because a lot of people who are like 14 when the GameCube came out, like me, are now like older. And Game Boy Advance was right around that. Hey, there's a link cable, right? They literally linked.
Yep.
Great. Except the Game Boy Advance was much more successful than the GameCube, so a lot more people even had a Game Boy Advance. All right, so Nick Turbo says his favorite Game Boy Advance game is Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. This was my first Fire Emblem game, and I played it on my 3DS through the Ambassador program. Got me to really love the series. So I played like the one that was just called Fire Emblem first, and did like that. But yeah, Sacred Stones was really where it was at. That was great. There's still I still like miss the pixel art from that. I remember when the GameCube Fire Emblem came out and how disappointing it was seeing those like kind of low quality 3D models compared to the amazing pixel art and animation in the Game Boy Advance games, and I just didn't really care for it. The 3D models have caught up now, but there's still something about the way Sacred Stones looks, especially those like attack animations that really stands out still.
Yep. This is a game that I've played, started a couple times, haven't finished it, but I every time I go to it, I'm like, yeah, this is a really solid Fire Emblem game that like still has all the stuff I loved when I really got into the series with Awakening.
Aaron Tonsis says his favorite Game Boy Advance game is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, an absolute joy to play with one of the best secondary villains of all time, Fawful. I like this game a lot too. I know that you really like this game.
I love this game. Yeah,
this could have been your answer. I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yes, and on certain days, it probably could still be my answer sometimes. It's so great. The writing's so good. The animation is so incredible. It is when you go from like Super Nintendo to N64 and they go down one path with the 3D and they're like, okay, this is what Mario looks like in 3D and it's awesome. Super Mario 64 is fantastic. But I would have been fine if they had just shown me what like the next generation of 2D graphics looks like. And then with Game Boy Advance, they did that, and Mario and Luigi is absolutely the best example. Some great idle animations. They look great in battle. It's like the characters stretch in a way that doesn't look like Flash animations or anything like that. It just looks so well done. And then like the writing is legitimately hilarious. Fawful is a great villain, just a great villain. So many great quotes, "Mustard of my doom" and stuff like that. I'll go back and play that game all the time. I'm so glad that they did re-release it on 3DS, even though most people didn't end up playing it because it was kind of a little bit late in that game's life cycle, I think, or that system's life cycle. But there's like a really good version of that game that like exists now, and you can just play it on your 3DS if you need to. And yeah, I just absolutely adore it. And like I think continuing the Super Mario RPG combat with the timed battle, it's like that's still what I want from a turn-based RPG, and that game absolutely nailed it. It was like much better than it was in Super Mario RPG, where it's like you were guessing a lot of times about like when you had to be hitting stuff. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga made it a lot more clear, a lot more obvious, like when you were supposed to be doing it, and that made it a lot more rewarding.
Schaefer says, my favorite Game Boy Advance game and one of my favorite games of all time is Advance Wars 2. It's easily one of the best tactics strategy games I've ever played. It's got a hell of a great style and great memorable characters, and unlike the first game, you can actually play as them. The campaign rules and the play a match whenever war room is fantastic. It's the best possible form of that game, and it has cool things like impassable pipes, neo-tanks, and fun CEO powers, but isn't bogged down by too much nonsense like in Advance Wars Dual Strike for the DS. Also, Sammy's theme is a bop and a top 10 piece of game music. I know you really like the Advance Wars. Is Advance Wars 2, is that the best in the series, Jeff?
Yeah, it probably actually is. Yes. I still I love the original Advance Wars so much because it's like that's the one that I fell in love with, and then I got more from Advance Wars 2. But it's I think like if you go for actual just gameplay, that the weird Black Hole Rising one, or that is Advance Wars 2. The dark one for DS might actually be the best one in terms of mechanics. There was it wasn't Dual Strike, I don't think. It was like the darker one. Maybe it was Dual Strike, whatever. But Advance Wars 2 is fantastic. It really does add a ton to that franchise. And this is another series that could easily be my number one game on Game Boy Advance. So many great games, so many great franchises on that system. But this one is in my top 3 somewhere for sure.
Canoeable says favorite Game Boy Advance game is Pokemon Mystery Team Red. I was a teenager. I ditched school and played it all night. It was hard, but it makes it so much fun, and the soundtrack is a banger. And it was my Tarantino phase. If I think about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I think about Uma Thurman as well. Honorable mentions to Minish Cap and Metroid Fusion. I didn't play this one too, but this is the Mystery Dungeon game, so this is a roguelike. I remember playing the Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, whatever, like way back in the day, having fun with that. I still think that this is like one of the more interesting ideas for a Pokemon spinoff is doing the Mystery Dungeon route with it.
I have nothing to say about Mystery Dungeon, although Days of Ruin is the Advance Wars game I was trying to think of.
That's right. Okay, the hard one. Not hard, like difficulty, hard.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, hard as in like Vince McMahon would be like, that looks strong. Yeah.
Yes. Benji Pop says, even though I should have picked Mario Tennis as my favorite Game Boy Color game, but forgot, I'm going to stay on the Pokemon train and say my favorite Game Boy Advance game was Pokemon Emerald. Gen 3 gets a bad rap coming from Gen 2 because you lose day-night cycles and people really hate double battles. But Gen 3 also makes so many visual strides from the Game Boy games, and it feels much more immersive, so much so that they went ahead and remade Gen 1. And shout out to Team Aqua and Team Magma, where the villains and plots are different depending on the version of the game. The Battle Frontier deserves love too. While it isn't as big as the Gen 2 post-game, and Battle Frontier and Emerald is a really fun way to just sink endless hours of fun into. Also, Mike, I'd be really curious to know in a YouTube poll if people played Fire Red / Leaf Green or the original Red, Blue, and Yellow as their first experience with Gen 1. I think that'd be an interesting poll, Jeff.
Yeah, let me end this first poll here.
Yes, Castlevania 1. Ooh.
Yeah, so I did with Castlevania 1 asking basically just which one's your favorite, and then I put
Game Boy Advance ones.
Yeah, of the Game Boy Advance ones, and we'll get the results here in a second as they pop up. Yeah,
Right.
so after 38 votes, 63% said Aria of Sorrow, 28% said Circle of the Moon, and 7% said Harmony of Dissonance. And I think that's kind of what I was expecting. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So we'll do a poll here now. What was your first experience with Pokemon Gen 1? Was it Red, Blue, and Yellow on Game Boy, or was it Leaf Green and Fire Red on Game Boy Advance? I guess you
Red,
could also put
red or blue, and then what's the other option?
Fire Red and Leaf Green and Game of Advance. Let's put the Let's Go games on Switch as the third option. That's Gen 1 also. What the hell? Let's see. Maybe that's the first time people played Gen 1. I don't know. I don't know if that's the way to do it. Those games were good. I don't know if they can see the full Gen 1 experience though.
I cannot vote, but for me, it was Red and Blue.
Yeah. I will say, so I liked Ruby and Sapphire. I don't think I liked them as much as Gold and Silver for some of the reasons Benji Bop was talking about. I didn't really like the duo battles or whatever, the double battles. I was kind of like, that was the beginning of them throwing what I thought were sort of lame gimmicks into the games. And the game felt smaller than Gold and Silver. Gold and Silver was just so big with that post game going back into Kanto. It was pretty hard to beat that. All right. Jimmy DeBra says, I'm throwing a second vote to Sacred Stones. I remember seeing a screenshot from the game and like the instruction book to a different game maybe and thought, that looks cool. Well, my mom got it for me for Christmas after I had already forgotten about the game. Had no idea what the game was before jumping in. It was my first turn-based strategy game. It's still probably my favorite Fire Emblem. The branching class paths, the story split, overworld map, all cool things not common in other games. One of those games that has a special place for me. Glad to see someone else gave it some love. So that's I think that's our second vote here is for Sacred Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone gets 2 Sacred Stones. All right.
Wow.
Arjun, some Game Boy Advance games I think that are worth mentioning are the Lord of the Rings 2 Towers and the Return of the King Diablo clones. Easily my most played games on Game Boy Advance. Still play them to this day to pass the time. Only complaint is 4 save slots for 5 characters. I also noticed no one has mentioned Metroid Fusion or Zero Mission yet, but I'm sure those will be covered. Man, I forgot about those Lord of the Rings games till he's brought them up right now.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
I played the GameCube ones, so I never played the Game Boy Advance ones, but the GameCube ones were actually also good.
Yeah, the GameCube one and like the other ones that generation were just like basically like kind of beat 'em ups almost, and these really were like top down action RPGs.
That's
like Diablo.
so cool. I did not know that.
They're really neat.
I kind of want to check that out. That's neat.
I remember they weren't their prettiest games from what I remember, but they were fun. Napper says
real quick, Red and Blue is kind of, it has a big lead, and then Andy in the chat says that chat is old. Lol.
Well,
So.
I mean, I'll tell you, hey, look at your hosts. Yeah, fair enough. Napper says his favorite Game Boy Advance game is Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. I put a lot of hours into this game and still prefer playing it over Stardew Valley. I think I did play the Game Boy Advance one. I may have played the Game Boy Color one, but there were a lot of, for a while there, every Game Boy had a good Harvest Moon game, really.
Nope.
Yeah, Anderson64 finally brings up one of the ones I was hoping somebody would. Very boring answer, but it's Metroid Fusion for me. The more linear progression didn't bother me all that much, and some of the boss fights are my favorites in the Metroid games. It would be fun and cool if we had Game Boy Advance games on Nintendo Switch. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, Metroid Fusion is
Awesome.
Great.
I just played this again as well, and it's so good. It really holds up.
Yeah, it's man, that was exciting when that came out at the same time as Metroid Prime.
Yes.
I remember, like, I don't think I actually beat Super Metroid for the first time until maybe getting to play Metroid Fusion for the first time, really, and then I finally went back and played through Super Metroid and realized how amazing it was, but still appreciating Metroid Fusion. I like the linear progression thing. It doesn't bother me that much either. I do appreciate Super Metroid's like less linear style, but it's not like when I'm playing Metroid Fusion I get super mad about it.
And it's like I think when we talked about this a few weeks ago, my thing was, at the time I freaked out a little bit because I'm like, I don't want this to be the future of Metroid. But as a branch on, like, if Metroid keeps going in one direction and Metroid Fusion is just a slight variation on that concept, and it isn't like the stone set future, it's great. It really works well. It's and then they went back to kind of doing a slightly more traditional Metroid games a little bit. Yeah, and I think Metroid Dread's probably going to be more like Super Metroid than like Metroid Fusion probably. So it's like, it's totally cool. It's like a sidestep for that franchise. Also, we keep going, but there's a ton more coming from your guys' answers. But I just want to say, man, Game Boy Advance is really good. Like,
it's very good. When you like stop and think about, like, geez,
there's so many games here that I'm like, yeah, that could have been my number one. That could have been. It's been like 5, like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Advance Wars, this. There's so much.
Like, here's one that could be in my top 5. Yami Seth says my pick for favorite Game Boy Advance game is the Mega Man Zero trilogy. Can't decide between one of them. They're just pure Mega Man joy. Shout out to Mega Man Battle Network. They're, in my opinion, underrated, and I hope we get a collection soon. So, having just replayed the Zero games through the collection they released not too long ago, which is fantastic. I think 3 is the best one. That would be my answer. But they're more connected than the other Mega Man series, so it does it like pays off if you actually play them in order. It's actually not even a trilogy. There's 4 of them when I think about it. Right? Yeah, there's 4 Mega Man Zero games.
I could not. I stopped paying attention at a certain point, so I could not help you with that.
Yeah, there's 4. 3's the best one, though. They're all very good, but 1's interesting because it's the most non-linear, so it kind of it's different in that way, in a way that's kind of interesting. But I think 3 is where it's really refined and super fun, and 4 was also good, but it's not quite there like 3 was. Man, those Battle Network games, I really liked the first one. I played the second one, liked it too, and then they just kept making them, which, it's Mega Man, so of course there were so many that I kind of eventually was like, it's one thing when you make a zillion 2D platformers that take about 2 hours to beat. When they made like a zillion like these RPGs, it's like, I don't know if I want to play all of these. I have a friend who just loves the Battle Network games. Still, well, like, he'll still just ask me, like, well, when are they gonna make a new Battle Network? Like, they're not. Leave me alone. And he's like, gonna get a collection, kind of like how Yami Seth here is hoping. I'm like maybe. I mean, they did all the other ones basically at this point. But those are bigger games. It's a little bit more niche. Gosh, my friend even liked that other series they made after it. It wasn't Battle Network. It was Mega Man Star Transmission or something. It was like the same kind of thing. But yeah, also good. All right, Turbo Sean says, my favorite Game Boy Advance game was one of my favorite games of all time, and also the best 2D Metroid game, Metroid Zero Mission. That's right, Mike. I said it. It's better than Super. It comes down to one simple reason: controls. This is all preference, of course, but I've always found Super floaty and somewhat slow compared to the snappy weight and speed of the Game Boy Advance Metroid's movement and weapons. The streamlined controls for the Game Boy Advance's limited buttons also feel more intuitive than those on the SNES. Comparisons aside, Zero Mission is an incredible game in its own right and has always been one of the gold standards of what a remake should be. Modern graphics, sound, and gameplay, but with all the soul of the original. Look, I still like Super best, and I think most people agree with me, so I don't need to defend myself too much. But yes, Zero Mission and and Fusion are both fantastic. In fact, Jeff, you know, if you want to end this poll, which I think Red and Blue's winning pretty handily, I think we
Yeah,
should
look at
do.
that.
Let's get it settled once and for all. Fusion or Zero Mission. I'll tell you, Zero Mission is one of those remakes where it's like, I'm glad this exists because you don't really need to play the original Metroid anymore unless you're
Right.
like a super fan. And I say that as someone who actually did finally play through the original and liked it a lot and had fun. But it is nice to know, like, you don't need to do it to get the complete experience anymore. You can play Zero
Right.
Mission. And
This is
you know,
this counts as canonical, I think. It's like
yes.
you have canonically played the first Metroid game if you play Metroid Zero Mission. Let's see. What was your first experience with Pokemon Gen 1? Red Blue is 76%, Fire Red, Leaf Green 16%, and Let's Go Pikachu / Eevee 7%. I think the children are just not a watching, Mike. I think that's what that says right there.
I'm pleased about that. That seems about right. I mean, Pokemon Red Blue are pretty big games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if you were like 5 when it was alive, you probably played it. So I'm not.
So I'm gonna start this other one. I'll say that Metroid Zero Mission, I believe, is like one of the most recent inductees into there's a video game Hall of Fame, and they have like games with perfect controls or perfect like locomotion or whatever. And someone's like, I finally got Metroid Zero Mission in there. So it is definitely recognized as like one of the best controlling sort of games of all time or something like that. It is very good.
I don't really mind that floatiness of Super Metroid. Like, that's part of the fun of it. Like, I don't know. Like, you grok it, right? But yeah, like Fusion and Zero Mission both control.
So Super Metroid or Metroid Zero Mission? That's the question?
Yep. Which one? What's the better? The Game Boy Advance ones. That's an interesting point, though, about like, it should be a bigger deal that the Game Boy Advance only has 2 face buttons, right? Because so much of it is Super Nintendo style games, and that thing had 4 face. So, like, the thing's missing 2 face buttons. And I'm sure it's a problem sometimes, but it's never that much of a problem somehow.
Yeah, it's I like, and whenever I'm like looking at the Game Boy Advance,
wait, you put Super Metroid in Zero Mission? No.
What's
Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, the 2 Game Boy Advance games, Jeff?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought the people were mad about you saying that Super Metroid's better. So.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll fix that. All right.
This poll's stupid.
Wow, man.
And also, I don't want to know if people like Zero Mission more than Super Metroid. I'm gonna get mad.
Hey guys, Mikey ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
That's right. You guys are finally learning what my parents learned all those years ago.
Right. What do you like better? No, wait. What is best?
Now I actually have to listen while you're asking me these questions because I assumed it was obvious and you just did.
Metroid Fusion or Metroid Zero
I know
Mission?
I said yes, Andy, but I wasn't paying attention because I assumed he had it under control. I know that he asked me if that's the poll I wanted, and I said yes, but it's not, and he should have known. He should have known, damn it.
Oh, okay, there it is. There's the poll. It's going now.
There's the real one. All right, we're good. Yeah. I like it. All right, we'll see. What do you vote for?
That's tough. I think after the most recent playthrough, Fusion, but I guess I should play Zero Mission again, huh?
Yeah, like Zero Mission is the more complete game, and that end stuff is great. But there's something about Fusion's vibe that I like, the whole kind of alien space station thing going on there. I think that's really neat. All right, let's go on to another one here from Giggy. Of all the Game Boy Advance games out there, my favorite is the best of all the Metroids, number 4, Fusion. How timely. I get the complaints of it being too linear and hand-holdy, but I love the setup and the payoff it delivers. I won't spoil it here, but I'm excited to see where the story goes in Dread. The introduction of the SAX adds amazing tension, and playing this in bed on my SP made for some really spooky times. While Super gets set the standard for the genre, Fusion nails the pacing. It's even more impressive they were able to pull it off on a handheld. If you have one Metroidvania to play, make it this one. Also, shout out to Security Robot Box. Side note, how wild was it that Metroid Prime released on November 17th and Fusion dropped a day later on the 18th? What a feast. Yeah, that was crazy. I have no idea what Security Robot Box is, though, I'll be honest.
I just played that, and I'm also forgetting that. Yeah. Or wait, is Security Robot Box a game, or is that in Metroid Fusion?
Oh, is that in Metro? I don't know. Security Robot BOX. Now I'm Googling it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. It is something to do with Metroid. Yeah. Okay.
Now I remember
it's
this. Yes, it's good. Okay.
Okay, that makes. At first, I thought it was a game. I don't know why. I was like, I don't know what that game is. Yeah, I tell you what, it has been a hot second since I played Metroid Fusion. Now, I played through it a few times before, though. I would be very excited to play it again, but like I'm kind of like, I would like to play it officially, maybe, but doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. Jake Bogdanoff says Leaf Green, Circle of the Moon, and Metroid Fusion are all rock stars here, and Tony Hawk 2 was special. Yeah, man, we haven't talked about how surprisingly good the Tony Hawk games were on Game Boy Advance for some reason. But Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland deserves a mention. It's gorgeous and really goes above and beyond what it should have been as a remake. Also, that soundtrack slaps. Yeah, Nightmare in Dreamland is great. If you it's a remake of the NES game Kirby's Adventure, which is still one of my favorite Kirby games, one of my favorite NES games, and this basically just kind of gave it more of that Super Nintendo kind of polish to it. So really good stuff there. Stephen Lamb says, here I stand in the Valley of Decision. I look on to see others that have gone to Favorite Land, even some I knew well, such as Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, Mega Man Zero and Battle Network series, and Fire Emblem. I look to the group with me, knowing only 3 of them can journey with me into Favorite Land. 1 as the captain and 2 as his servants. The honorable mentions. The choice is indeed difficult, but I've made up my mind. WarioWare shall be crowned as my favorite Game Boy Advance game, which Grubb can tell you all you want to know about it. And his 2 servants, the honorable mentions, shall be Summon Night, Swordcraft Story by Atlas, and Gunstar Superheroes, the sequel to the extremely underrated Gunstar Heroes of the Sega Genesis. These 3 traveled with me to take the rightful places among the citizenry of Favorite Land. Man, wow, Lamb going nuts. I like it. I like the energy there, Lamb. You love WarioWare.
Oh yeah, WarioWare is fantastic, and it's like when I was looking ahead and I saw this, and then that's when I was like, man, Game Boy Advance is so good because it's like, you know, Mario, Luigi, and Metroid and Castlevania, but then it's like also WarioWare as well as Advance Wars. It's like so many franchises that I adore. WarioWare is great. It's you know, the new one's out now. You probably have a pretty good idea of what it is if you're unaware, but just like what it did well was take Nintendo's sort of ability to make stuff so playable and then condense that down into 5-second games that really, you know, really micro games, it's in the title, and then just throw them at you so rapidly that you don't even have time to really register what's going on before, like, well, even as you start to play it. And then as it goes by and you're on to the next one, you're like, wait, I was picking someone's nose, I was like slapping a dog in the face, and it's like, it's just, it feels so good, like as it like laps over your brain, because it doesn't give you any time to process it, and something about that kind of overwhelms the senses, but then also makes you enjoy it that much more. Yeah, I adore WarioWare.
Right,
yeah.
and like there's been some other good WarioWare games, but there's always something about the first time with that concept, right? Because it was just so kind of out of left field.
It had like a really good manual with like a lot of like, I think there was stickers and stuff, and it was like it was kind of like told a story about Wario, and it was like really thick. It was like, yeah, it was like one of the best manuals ever. Yeah, thick like Wario. That's right, that booty.
Yeah. I do not know what Summon Night Swordcraft Story is, to be honest. Yeah, I have to look into that one. And Gunstar Superheroes is one that I mean to play because I only discovered Gunstar Heroes a few years ago. I finally played through it. And
really?
It's and it's
awesome.
fantastic. It's you know, it's a top 3 Genesis game probably.
Yes.
It's insane. It's probably the best run and gun game. It's probably better.
I think it's my favorite Genesis game. Yeah, it's probably my number one.
It's probably better than all the Contras. It's probably better than all the Metal Slugs. It's nuts how good that game is. So, and I know Gunstar Superheroes on Game Boy Advance is supposed to be very good. So I will have to check that out at some point. Pinball Jr. says, my favorite Game Boy Advance game is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters. It's a strategy game where you use dice that unfold in different patterns. These create paths for you and your opponent's monsters to move. So the more monsters you have, the more paths your opponents have to attack you. It's a complex and satisfying strategy game that I'm surprised nobody has stolen the mechanics from. Jeff, I think me and you were both a little old when the Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing happened, which is, it's funny because, like, I don't know why I sneer at it. It's no different from like something like Pokemon or any other bullshit I liked as a kid. But I'm like, haha, Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to make a joke about that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, I know that there's a trap card and you activate it. That's what I know.
Yes, I know that, and I know there's like the thing you make with like the 5 different pieces and they come together to make the big one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure, Voltron, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but something like that. There's some kind of big dragon thing. Yeah, I know that my grandpa's deck has no weak cards. So, I'm a part of me is almost like, yeah, man, what is like one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh games? Like, yeah, sounds kind of neat with the dice.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting game though, the way he describes it here. I'm actually making a list of stuff that people are mentioning that I haven't played, so I'll add it alongside Summon Night and some of the stuff that's mentioned here in the super chats that we'll get to soon.
And then Schaefer says the Golden Sun games are amazing, and they should have done more with them as a series/IP. This is one that people always want more of.
I love Golden Sun. Actually, it's
I
one of the
only-
few RPGs I've actually finished.
I only ever played a little bit of it, and I never went back to this one once I really got into JRPGs. But it's on the to-do list. At least 1 and 2. I feel like 3 has more of a mixer session, but 3 wasn't a Game Boy Advance game, so hey, who cares? I remember being stunned with the kind of presentation of this one with the 2D
Yes.
sprites and the rotating camera and the over the shoulder. I thought it looked really cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's got like a dirty pixel look to it too, where the pixels are sort of like floating all over the place a little bit, and I think it turns off. I know like Jeremy Parrish thinks it looks really ugly. He was retro. He's over at Retronauts. If you don't listen to that podcast, but I love the way it looks. I think it looks so interesting. And it's got good music. It has fun combat, and the story's pretty brisk, which I think is what kept me going as someone who typically hadn't liked RPGs. But I love Golden Sun 1. I don't know if I ever beat 2, but I played a lot of it, and that's also good. But yeah, Golden Sun's great. And another one that's like, Game Boy Advance. Fantastic system.
all right, that's it from the community. I think we have a few super chat ones you want to get to.
Yeah, one that two actually that I'm actually surprised didn't get mentioned until now. Let's start here with Ryan, who says shout out to Minish Cap, which is like, one of the standout Zelda game.
That would probably be that might be my second pick. I love Minish Cap. I don't know, gosh, it's so hard with Game Boy Advance. But I like Minish Cap a lot. It's one problem is a problem that like a lot of the Zelda games at this era started happening. It's got a slow start. People are talking way too much, but once it gets going, it is super fun. It's pretty brisk. Great dungeons. The sky dungeon in this one is still one of my favorite Zelda dungeons. You get the item there. It's not so you had Rock's Feather and Link's Awakening, and here you get Rock's Cape. So you do the jump, but then you do a glide after it, and it has probably still my favorite non-final like Zelda boss fight, where you have like these two kind of flying like manta rays, and you're jumping between the two in this like over the head 2D Zelda style. That boss fight, and you're using like the 4 sword mechanic to make the clones yourself and attack the spots the right way. Minish Cap is great. Vaati is a fantastic villain. I really wish they would bring him back. I think he's really neat. Man, yeah, Minish Cap's fantastic. I love Minish Cap.
That's a game they could just like pretty much port. Just make it like remaster it so that it takes up the full Switch screen. But other than that, just port it basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Great stuff.
Yeah, I actually never beat it. I played through a lot of it, but I never beat it. So it's
maybe did you get to that Sky? Because the Sky they're talking about, it's like the last one or the second last one. It's later. It's so good.
I don't think I got to that. So yeah,
You have to get there.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna play that game at some point, whether or not they put it on Switch.
I'm not saying I like it as much as you like Link's Awakening, but I do like this more than I probably like Link's Awakening. I think not by much, but I don't know. Minish Cap speaks to me in some way. Maybe it might just be the Game Boy Advance-ness of it, to be honest, because like I like that system so much, right?
Right, and it looks great. It looks so good.
Well, because it's not just they didn't just make it look like Link to the Past. They kind of adapted the Wind Waker art style to it, and it has its own look, and it looks
like
really
Mario
nice.
and Luigi. It's like it's the same thing where it's like they took the next gen of 2D visuals and just made a Zelda game. It's very, very good. Here's one from Michael Fahy, who says Wade Hickston's Counterpunch and Astro Boy are Game Boy Advance classics. I've never played Wade Hickston's Counterpunch. I'm going to check it out. It looks pretty funky. But Astro Boy, I did play. Another fantastic game. I think that's a Treasure side-scrolling shooter. I think it's from Treasures. I know what the game is, but I think it's from Treasure.
I know. I think it's. Yes, it is. Yeah. Developed by Treasure, published by Sega. Yeah, Astro Boy is very good on that system.
In that line of like Gunstar Heroes and stuff, it's it's so good. It's like the combat is so dynamic and kinetic, and it also has that awesome 2D Game Boy Advance visuals. It's really, really good.
You know what I learned yesterday? Treasure made the Wario World, that 3D Wario game GameCube. That was
so
Treasure.
Weird. So weird.
That's one that's really on my to-do list, is to actually play through that game, because like everyone seems, because again, like there's certain franchises, right? No, those are for 2D. We're not going to turn those into 3D platforms.
Right.
And then like they just kind of like, we made a 3D Wario game on the GameCube. People are like, you did? Oh,
right. yeah. Like no one noticed it when it happened. It was one of those ones that just kind of came and went in the background. Yeah.
And I'm sure it's because it's probably not amazing, but I bet it's fun. So I might get that.
Actually, this is a little bit off topic. So, should we mention anything else from Game Boy Advance, and then get this last super chat?
I felt like there was something. Man, there was something that I felt like needed a mention here because there's so many. I think I was worried about Minish Cap not getting love, and then it did. Sonic Advance 1, I think, was good. The sequel was like it got a little too fast for me, but also it was just crazy playing a new 2D Sonic game and playing it on Game Boy Advance. Boktai,
yeah.
oh
But
my god,
a silly one. It's the one where you had the light panel on it on the actual cartridge, so it could absorb sunlight from producer Kojima and some of his like cohorts.
Right,
making that one.
It's probably the big ones are actually Mario Golf Advance Tour and Mario Tennis Advance. Yeah, like those are still my favorite Mario sports games, just because the really fun RPG campaigns and mechanics that they had.
Let's see. I had one. Drill Dozer. Drill Dozer was fantastic. It had Rumble. One of the cartridges that had actual Rumble pack built into it, and you're just a girl with a drill, and you would drill through the wall, and it's really fun mechanic. Really well done. Wario Land 4. Pretty solid.
That's the other one I was thinking of. Wario Land 4.
Yes. F-Zero Maximum Velocity was actually really good.
That was a launch game too. That was more fun than the Game Boy Advance Mario Kart game, which was also a launch game. I was like, give me F-Zero. But yeah, man, this library is bonkers. And then you had a lot of ports. Like Link to the Past did come out on Game Boy Advance, and it came with the Four Swords thing, so that was a great package. We had but the Mario games like. At that time later, we were like, oh, this actually isn't as good of a version of Yoshi's Island as the original Super Nintendo, but it was still really neat back then.
Yeah. Ninja 5-0, also a good game. One of those ones that actually sells for a lot of money, but also is actually pretty good. And then what was the last one I wanted to mention? It was around here somewhere. I keep forgetting every time I scroll away from it. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Right. More Final Fantasy.
I love that game. Yeah.
And this was still pretty early with like the whole like, whoa, Final Fantasy games are coming out on Nintendo consoles again.
Right. And it was like I hadn't played many of the Final Fantasy games because I didn't get a PlayStation until late, so it was like I'll try this, and I was like, oh wow, I remember people like praising Final Fantasy Tactics and really wanting to play that, but then I played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance first and falling in love with that. I really love that game. So just an incredible library.
The whole library is so good that it's like I always really like whenever a site does like their best Game Boy Advance games, because I'm actually curious.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Mike, we don't have to do it now, but maybe after we get through all this stuff, maybe we could start doing some top 10 lists, or maybe top 15 or 25 or something like that.
We're always gonna get through all these systems. We're gonna have to keep making episodes, right? Yeah.
Right. So maybe come back around and do something like that.
I would say though, maybe before we do that, maybe we should both make efforts to play Mother 3. Maybe we should finally play that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, let's definitely do that. I would love that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, which again, that's one of the easiest victories Nintendo can ever have, but they just don't do. All right, we got a couple non-related to Game Boy Advance super chats. If you would like to read those,
yes, I have it right here. Let's see. From Space Dovahkiin, 1998 was the year I fell in love with video games with Pokemon Red and Metal Gear Solid 1. Love at first sight. Yeah, it was a strong year.
98. I still think that's the best year. So in the US we got Pokemon, we got Ocarina of Time, Half-Life 1. And Metal Gear Solid, like just incredibly important games. You had like other games that I love, like Grim Fandango happened that year. Just I'm sure there's even more for game about a ridiculous year in terms of like just absolutely monumental game releases.
Yep. And then Ryan says, "I beat Wario World. The pause music hurts me."
All right, I like that pause. I mean, it's funny because it's just Wario going nah, which is beautiful. Like it's perfect.
Oh
it's
man,
incredible.
I'm gonna capture that and use it for the podcast sometime. We'll
there you go. It's great. Hey, that poll ended by the way about Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission, and after 84 votes, Fusion wins at 65%. Zero Mission wins with 34. I'm almost surprised it wasn't a little bit closer.
I think Zero Mission is still pretty beloved, but I think Fusion must just have it was a new game and maybe more people played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mother 3
Any
would
other
be
super
sensible.
chats?
Yeah, no, I think that's all of them. We got everything, right?
Did you get to the part where Brap
No,
said
I did
hi?
not get Brap. Brap came in and said, salute Jeff and Mike, hit the like button, everyone. Thank you, Brap, for showing up. We always appreciate that. Brap
Yes,
does his own
hello.
show. I think he might be doing it later today. He does it on Wednesdays or Thursday. I can't remember. All right, Mike.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's all for the super chats and all for the Game Boy Advance.
All right, so yeah, now next week we get to go to another banger of a system with the DS. So
Yeah.
everyone start thinking about what your favorite Nintendo DS game is. Which, if you would have asked me, I was like, yeah, I like the DS even better than Game Boy Advance. But just like that right there, I'm like, man, Game Boy Advance is pretty good. I guess we'll see. But man, I have some DS games I also really love. DS is weird because I like a lot of the third party stuff on the DS actually. So we'll see. Our Nintendo games that we've been playing this week. I actually want to start, Jeff, with Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania because the preview embargo went up while we were recording.
Okay.
So I can actually talk about that in a preview capacity, which I never really quite know what that means. I don't like writing those previews, but I can talk about it.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it. And I was, hey, if you like Super Monkey Ball, I think you absolutely have to get this. And I've been playing it on Switch. It's coming out on other things. And if you were worried about how the Switch version is going to run after the Sonic Colors thing, which I was, and that's why I asked for the Switch code, don't be. This runs very well. It's very smooth. It looks very good. It absolutely just has that monkey ball vibe. So, you know, like it has the it looks how I imagine the GameCube game looks, right? But when I went back to play, I'm like, oh no, this actually looks much better now. Kind of like the biggest change here is that you're not playing it through with like a life system anymore, right? You could, when you die, you can just keep retrying that level, and that's pretty nice because you know, I'm old. I don't want to have to replay the 27 levels I already beat,
Right.
just to get back to the one that I'm going to lose that again anyways. I like being able to brute force it a little bit right now. And brute force it, like, what does that mean? These levels are still very hard, even if you get like 20 tries at it. There are some other modes here, and maybe I haven't tried them yet. Maybe some of them actually do make it so like you have a live system. Like there's like, so like the story mode remixes the levels from Super Monkey Ball 1, 2, and I think that whatever that third one was called. And then there's like a mode I haven't tried. It's like Super Monkey Ball 1 challenge, a Super Monkey Ball 2 challenge. So I saw what this it's about. I haven't jumped into the mini games that much either yet. I haven't locked some of the bonus characters though. I actually like going through it as Tails a lot. I don't know why. I think that's cute and it makes me happy. But I always liked Super Monkey Ball, especially Super Monkey Ball 2 on the GameCube. It's been a while since I played it, and now I'm like, yes, this game is great. This is a lot of fun.
I am ready for more Monkey Ball, and I just looked. I got a code as well, so I'll play it, and we'll talk about it next week. I think the review might be around that time, so we'll see. But yeah, I like the idea of putting Tails in a ball. That's where he belongs, in a prison, rolling prison. That's fine.
I'm still a little mad that they didn't put Echo the Dolphin in a ball. That would have made sense to me, but I get it.
Is there any hope? Is there any hope for Echo in a ball?
Hope.
Oh man!
I asked them, and they were like, they laughed. I'm like, haha, who knows? And I was like, that's not happening. I mean, like Beat from Jet Set Radio was like kind of a slightly more obscure reference, so that was cool. But I think Echo's even on a different. Plus, Echo is a Western thing, right? And this game's being made in Japan. I don't know how much they care about Echo the Dolphin.
That's a good point. Yeah. I am, but I'm definitely ready for more Super Monkey Ball. I played a ton of the GameCube one. I don't know if I've touched one since. So,
right.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood for that mechanic. Just the rolling the guys around on the thing. Yeah, let's do that.
I know that. Yeah, they made like there was like one on some of the portable systems and stuff, but it never just like it always seemed like lesser than the GameCube versions. And now this is not. This is just like okay, that's
fantastic. That's fantastic to hear. I'm very excited.
Right. And then, Jeff, we've both been playing WarioWare. We got our codes, which, you know, I do appreciate getting the codes, even if, you know, it's
right. Yeah.
The game
we understand. We understand what happened here.
We understand we're still in jail, but, you know.
Yeah. And really, I blame Mike. And sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not going to text him. I'm not going to text him. I'm mad at him.
This was my fault. I am going to clang the bars a bit, though, and make an appeal for Metroid Dread.
I think it's time. We'll see. Yeah. We did our time.
Lawyers.
All right. We've reformed.
Tell you what, we've actually done a pretty lengthy amount of time for what the crime was. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Jeff, I actually really like WarioWare Get It Together. I don't know how you feel about it. You probably care more about the series than I do. But this is the most fun I have had with one of these since probably Touched, I feel like.
I'm right there with you. I think it's really well done. I think actually kind of getting WarioWare mini games or micro games in HD is really neat, and they like really updated a lot of the concepts, and it's not just reused assets. They're reusing many of the ideas, but they'll give it a new coat of paint and try something new. And it's like, so it's still really fun to just get these things bursting at you at a really fast pace. But having the different characters with different abilities actually keeps things really fresh. You have to figure out each one and how they would approach this specific thing. Because I mean, for people who don't know, like this WarioWare game, the twist here is that like if you play as Wario, he can fly around on it with a jetpack and then use his shoulder stomp or whatever, and that's what he can do. And another character is like always jumping, but can also throw ninja stars, but in like one direction. And so it's like, okay, when you go into this thing, you have to figure out how to use them, and it keeps things like on. Right. It keeps you on your toes a lot of the times, and I've really liked it.
And when you're playing like the story mode, which is kind of introduces you to all the games and all these characters, it's like, all right, you have to play as this character, and then you can pick 2 others or 3 others. And that's fun, but the game really gets fun after you beat that and you go back to these things. And then there's this mode called All, and that's the way to play, because then it's just all the characters can become playable. And when you start a new mini game, you find out which character you're going to be, and then you have to figure out how to beat the mini game with that character. So it adds this kind of like extra frantic layer to it, where it's like, oh, this level might have been easy if I was playing as Ashley, who can just fly wherever and shoot wherever she wants. But I'm playing as the dog who can fly and only shoot to the right or something like that. Or I'm playing as not 9 volt, but is 18 volt, and he just sits still and can shoot discs out, and you can latch onto objects with them. And like you wouldn't want to be that character because it's more difficult, but sometimes you have to be. It's super fun.
Right, and I think it balances that difficulty. Like in chat, Kimonoko says some of the micro games are really hard with some of the characters, and that's true. I would say the point. Kind of the point, right? And also, if that is a problem for you, the punishment is really low, because especially in the story mode, you could just spend 100 tokens that you get, and you have like thousands of them, at least at first. Right. You use those to continue from where you left off, and gives you your 4 hits back. Do that,
though, I have to admit.
Me neither. But it's like, but it's there, and it's a totally fair option. And it's like, okay, so it's like, if you want to go that route, you can. And if you felt like you lost that because it was cheap, like you knew what you needed to do, but the character made it more difficult than you wanted it to be, you could just keep continuing. But it's like, for me, it's like, as someone who's played these games for so long, I'm just like, oh, this is just it's like tickling that right part of my brain, where it was always fun to figure out what the micro game wanted from me. Now it's fun to layer on top of that, how do I actually accomplish that with this character? It's a concept that works surprisingly well. I don't think that the story mode is super lengthy. I haven't played any of the 2-player stuff.
It's about the length that they always are, right?
Well, yeah, the difference now is like this game's $50 instead of $30 or $40. So I'm not really complaining. It's what I want. I think that I have a lot of fun going back and trying to like get like high scores and all this stuff. I want to see all the variations of the games and stuff, like each game, while different from the next, a lot of times the games themselves are different if you keep playing for longer and longer. So it's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be playing for quite some time, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I guess I am a little surprised that like this didn't at least get an 80 like average or higher. Again, I don't know why I talk about Metacritic. I talk about, oh, that doesn't really matter, and then I go to it as if it does matter. But I think some people are like, oh, I beat the story mode and that's the game. I do think so much of the game is going back and playing that all mode, and that's really where a lot of the fun happens.
Yes, it's going to be one of those things that I always have on my Switch, and will play all the time. I mean, I do that still with WarioWare and many of the other like WarioWare mega games on the GameCube. When I boot up Dolphin, like half the time I end up just playing that for a little bit. It's it's awesome that it's on the Switch. I hope it does very well. I think it was the #1 game in the UK last week, so I think it's going to sell pretty well, and I'm excited for it to like take off and kind of get a new audience, and hopefully we get more WarioWare in the future. But like I said last week, I think if not, I am very happy with this one.
Yes. And as somebody who loves Ashley's song from, what was that, the first WarioWare when that happened?
Yeah.
There's like another like character song moment thing, and that's it's great. I love it.
You could play as 9 volt's mom, 5 volt, and she's great.
She's the best. She's my
She's the
favorite
best.
character to play.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like a reference to like one of the earliest micro games where like you had to pretend that you were asleep, and she was
Right.
like,
It's a Smash Brothers level too.
yeah, right. It's in Smash Brothers now. Yeah, and she's like that shadow demon, and that's her character. It's so good. Like,
It's so good.
That kind of stuff, like delivering for people who've been playing for so long, is they really nailed that stuff. So
Yeah. I'm actually a little surprised how much I do like it. I think it's fantastic.
Yes, and we'll probably talk about it a little more next week after I try to exhaust some of the other content there, and I'll probably write a review before the end of this week. So, Mike, before I get to my last game here, we have a super chat from Uriel Delgado, who says, "I sure wish Nintendo would re-release Metroid Prime Trilogy on Wii U. It's 480p upscaled to 720, and my computer isn't powerful enough to emulate without suffering often, without stuttering. Often Nintendo." I think he said Nintendo.
Often.
Yeah, without starting often. Nintendo, let me give you money. Thank you, Mike.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's. I think it's. Hey, I would say part of that is just go play like the GameCube and Wii versions of those games, and if you're going to use Dolphin, do that. That's fine. You don't need to play the trilogy version. Although if you want the motion controls, I understand. I get that. They're very good. All right, CRUIS'N Blast, which is surprisingly fun. It's like,
Jeff, what is this? Because I didn't even know a new CRUIS'N game was coming out. Like, what's
a new
going on
CRUIS'N
here?
game is here, Mike.
Wow.
So it's new for like home consoles, but it's actually pretty old for arcades. I think it came out like 5 years ago in the arcade. It's been there
for the CRUIS'N series. That's like brand spanking new as far as I'm concerned.
No,
I had no idea.
Real. I think you might have been there before. You know that that wall drug place that's in like Idaho or something.
Yes, AJ's been there. He told me
so
about
AJ's been there, right? So I was there, and they had a CRUIS'N Blast machine, and I was like, "Oh man, a new CRUIS'N! What the hell?" And this is a few years ago. It's like 2 years ago. It's when Emmy was still a baby, and I sat down and played a few games. Like, yeah, this is pretty good. So what it is it's a new CRUIS'N racing game, like CRUIS'N USA, CRUIS'N Exotica. Yeah. And CRUIS'N World, right? And it's definitely it maintains a lot of like the same feel where like you are driving a car, but a lot of it is like it's a spectacle because it's an arcade game first, and so it wants to make you feel like you're doing cool stuff. So when you hit a ramp, you're gonna hit a ramp, and it's not gonna like really care about how you hit the ramp. It's gonna make sure that you get to the other side. Like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe does that a little bit, where like
it's
we're
more
gonna
like a Sonic springboard than a ramp.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're gonna make sure that like even if like you come up short, no, you're gonna get on the thing, and it's gonna be just fine. Like you're not gonna ever fall off the course, not really. And so it can feel a little bit like it's on rails, but it does it in a really, really good way. So it always feels like you're in control. It always feels like you're making decisions. When you win, it feels like you actually won. And it's also very, very rubber bandy, where at the beginning you're gonna lose a lot, and you're always gonna finish in like third or fourth place. But again, it still feels like you were the reason that happened, even though it's totally not. And so it's like nailing a lot of these things that are like difficult to pull off in a game like this. And then the spectacle itself is actually really spectacular. There's like dinosaurs racing across the screen, and all kind of like you're flying through a casino, and it's just like going by so fast it's hard to process again. And oh my gosh, just hitting a high note. That's how I scream like that when I'm playing. And one of the smart things they do here is CRUIS'N Blast in the arcade had 5 courses. This game also only has 5 courses, but they remix them really well, so that when you go back to them, it's like you hardly even recognize them, and it feels like you're doing something new. And again, since it's so much about the spectacle, that you're like, oh, I'm just here to see what's going to happen as I race through these courses. And so if it's different, that's like a huge reason to want to replay them. I am also enjoying trying to like get in first place on every stage. It is pretty difficult, although as you unlock better vehicles, that becomes a little bit easier, and the vehicle unlocks are incredible. I played a lot of CRUIS'N USA, but I never played like a ton and was ever like, I'm gonna like play this through to the end or anything like that. So I don't know if the series had this kind of stuff before, but I bet it has. But like one of the first things I unlocked was an Apache helicopter. So I'm like racing through the level as a helicopter, like right there on the ground.
I think the game did have that. That sounds familiar.
And like you can unlock dinosaurs and UFOs and races those, and it's like as you're going through like the dinosaur stage and you see the dinosaurs racing across, I'm like, I bet I'm gonna be able to race as a dinosaur, and so it's very fun when that happens. And then it's also incredibly stupid because it's like one of the things you could do is like double tap R to go up on 2 wheels to sort of like weave through some obstacles. And so getting like the attack chopper to do that is like, it looks so stupid, but I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, and it's a budget title. It's not full price. I feel like if you are looking for a fun distraction racing game, this one you kind of can't do better than this. It's not going to be like, you know, a Forza Horizon or something like that. It's nothing like that. It is still at its heart an arcade game. It's just a really good port of an arcade game where it's doing everything you kind of want, and I'm really glad I played it because it's been a lot of fun.
I actually very specifically have a nostalgia right now for like the late 90s arcade games that people don't like romanticize. Like just yesterday, I like randomly tweeted out, do the kids know about Hydro Thunder? And a lot of people were like, what's that? You know, like that's where my mind is right now. So this, like, yeah, bring me back to going to the ground round with the freaking CRUIS'N USA arcade machine that had the Ultra 64 logo. On
Ultra 64, right? Yeah.
Take me back to that place.
Yes, exactly. And this does a good job of capturing that. It's not it looks like a 5-year-old arcade game that was made to like make money, so it wasn't like, but it's like, that's good. And someone chat's asking, is this published by Nintendo? It's published by Raw Thrills, which is the company that made the arcade game. And I think they developed it as well.
I'm looking at a video of this now, and I think I had to buy this.
Yeah, it's been an actual blast. So I
CRUIS'N blast.
Yes, exactly. I did not have super high hopes for it going in, but I was like, I would like to enjoy this. That's what I want from this, and I'm very happy with it.
CRUIS'N series or the Rush series?
Oh, before this, it was the Rush series. San Francisco Rush was fantastic. I played so much of that game. The stunt course. I played that for hours and hours and hours and hours.
What was the one on Dreamcast? Was it a futuristic Rush game? I loved that.
Was it Rush 2049 or something like that?
It's hard because now I'm like 2042.
I know, same here. I think it's 2049.
Yeah, but I remember thinking that was fantastic.
I love the Rush
because it's San Francisco 49, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Good point. Yeah. I didn't even think it would connect that, but I was definitely thinking about the Rush games while playing this and be like, man, someone should do that next. Bring those back next. That would be great. I think we need a more like a larger variety of vehicle-based games. I think people are just like, okay, we're either going to get Gran Turismo and Forza Motorsport, or we're going to get Forza Horizon, and it's going to be like you know, an open world driving game. And while it's got some wacky stuff and it has some like cool scripted things like racing against a train, and it's scripted so that you're just going to beat it, and that stuff is great. I think there is a space for something like San Francisco Rush to come back.
Arcade racers. I mean, I think everybody's kind of. I mean, like F-Zero, like this.
Yeah.
Everyone's missing it. Even a bit like, gosh, you know how much I want a new Ridge Racer. Same kind of vein. Yeah, I think there's going to be a market for that. And, you know, I think these smaller games are going to feel that niche a bit. I think eventually something bigger is going to come.
I think you're right. I think it helps that you go into this knowing its weaknesses. You know what Cruisin' Blast is going into it for the most part.
Right, Cruisin' USA was never a prestige game. We all played it because it was one of those early Nintendo 64 games back when there were so few releases. It's like, well, here's something. I guess we're all going to own this, and then we're all going to buy Turok the next month. You know, like stuff like that.
Exactly, and it's like, if you know it's coming from the arcade, you know what to expect there, and it's like, okay. So like I could list the weaknesses, but they're so obvious. It is stuff like 5 courses and all this, but the weaknesses play into its strengths. Like it does feel a little bit on rails at time, but it's just so much fun when you're doing it. You don't care. So yeah, I
think it needs to make a new Daytona now.
That would be fantastic.
Get all the old tracks in there.
And
God,
the one thing about this game is its soundtrack is like sort of repugnant in a way that is also sort of attractive, like where it's so I can't even like sing the main theme, but it's not like Cruisin' USA. It's not that, but it's like some lady singing, and yet something about it. It's not as good as that, but still there's something about it where I'm like, I don't know, it's sort of butt rocky, sort of like something you would hear in the arcade that is supposed to grab your attention, and you're not even supposed to like necessarily like it. You're supposed to be like, what is that noise, and like look over at it
now.
And I kind of also am nostalgic for that stuff. So yeah, just a really fun game.
Oh man, now I'm I'm like excited about it.
I know. Yeah, sorry. Like I don't want to build up the hype too much,
I
but
got WarioWare. I still got some Monkey Ball to play. I'm like, man, I'm playing all these great kind of pick up and play games on Switch right now with that stuff, and it's fantastic. Like not like especially because I was in that big JRPG craze for a bit, and I kind of like slowed down somewhat awkwardly in the middle of Dragon Quest VIII, so I need to get back to it. But first I slowed down. I was like, I'm in a beat 'em up craze, and then and then it was like. Now I'm in a 3D platform craze. Now I'm in a arcade racing craze. Apparently, excuse me.
No, but it's like I totally get it. Like the games that you could just like pick up and immediately start playing. That's one of the reasons I'm so happy WarioWare came out. I have it on my system. I'm just gonna play it at any point and really enjoy it. But
all right,
I think this game's pretty similar as well.
Let's get out of here then. That was good stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so
I'll hit the button. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget, everyone, start thinking about your favorite Nintendo DS games. I think I have to think. I do have mine, but I have some honorable mentions for sure. Hopefully, we'll see if they all get covered here. You can find more of me at Twitter at Tolkoto, TOLKOTO. Check out the Games Week Decides on Fridays with me and Jeff, and check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com.
I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter, and I have another podcast, How Games Make Money. You can check that out, twitch.tv/Jeff Grubb. The Patreon. I need to talk about this with you, Mike. Patreon.com/Game Mess.
Hey!
It's been updated, so it's not Jeff Grubb anymore. Patreon.com/Game Mess. I do believe that means I'll have to start sharing some of that money with Mike, but what can you do? What can you do? At some point, you have to apologize for not texting him, and we'll just do that with money. If you want to like ask questions like a bunch of our Discord users did, one of the best ways to do that is to subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Game Mess. It gets you into the Industry Secrets channel, gets you into podcast producers, and we do take a lot of feedback there. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Bye.
CRUIS'N Blast.